What's up, guys? It's Lamp here, and today I'll be talking about lightning and its properties. So let's get started. So the first thing you're gonna need is you need to set your settings, your graphic settings, very high in Roblox Studio. So what you're gonna need to do is go to File, and then right here there's Studio Settings, or Alt S. So then we have physics and rendering. Set those to a high level so that you could see shadows and lights more realistically at different levels. So once you're done with that, you're gonna have to go to model, and then you're gonna have to go to effects, and then this arrow, and then there's point light, spotlight, and surface light. So how it's gonna work, you need a part selected, and then you go to effects, and then select one of these lights. For me, let's say point light. And then the point light becomes a child of the part. So what that means is the part is owned by some source, like the part or something. Well, for lights it's required because, like, where would the light come from? So now we have point light. I'm gonna actually demonstrate it right here. This part, because yeah, I pre-built it. So wait, that's, which one is point light? Okay, hold on. Okay, this is the point light. So as you see, we have this sphere which represents where the light goes, and how it, where it's like it's like a barrier, like the limits. If we set the range higher, the limits become, well, bigger. As you see, it doesn't go after this arrow thing or circle. I mostly recommend small ones if you're making like a room light or any kind of like small environment like a cave. Brightness makes brighter or less brighter or anything. If you're making a room, you can make like kind of low, like this. If you're making like I don't know, sports arena, then set it to high, like maximum like 40. And I recommend use the material neon. And yeah, and then we have the color, which is the color of the light. I mostly recommend it to represent the light that is reflecting. Hold on, I will find a similar kind of color. Yeah, like this. You see? Now it looks similar. That's what you're gonna have to do to make your game real, if you want to. And there's a shadows thing, which basically modifies shadows. So let me make an example here. So as you see, we have the small table here, and then once we turn on shadows, you see it works as a sun. So like, see, if we turn off shadows, the sun is manipulating the shadows and its things, but if we turn on shadows, it can manipulate other objects shadows, and basically makes it like a sun. So that adds more realism. That applies to every single type of light, as long as you have shadows on. Like, for example, this one, turn on shadows, works. This one, turn on shadows, works. See, works just fine. Now let's get to the second type, which is going to be the spotlight. So spotlight is like the point light, but it only goes in one direction. So as you see, if we set the angle to 54, yeah, there's an option called angle now. That basically, makes an angle for the light. So if we set it to 108, it's gonna go more around it. It's gonna like go more distanced. But if we go set it to like 54, it's gonna be like less, going around the area. Brightness, same thing as point light. We can make it brighter, we can make it less, and the range is well, the range, but it goes under the map because it's too close to the floor. And finally, the last type, we have the surface light. So basically, it's very quick to explain. It's like the spotlight, but if you look closer, you see something different. Do you see it? The surface light, it takes the shape of the surface of the part, and yeah, and you can also set the face, like it could go facing the top, face the bottom. That's the option for spotlight and surface light, as you see here. Let me go to spotlight. See, but it's not there on point light, because guess what? It goes in all directions. It's a 360. So that's basically describing all of the lights, kind of. Okay, now I'm gonna make a time lapse building like a small room with kind of like a bit of environment, so that you can practice, you know, your building skills with the lights. So yeah, I'll make quite a quick time lapse, and yeah, you can pause the video and make your own and skip to the part where I'm done if you want to, but it's very quick. Okay guys, I made a very simple example here, which is basically just shows like a window. It's like one of those like old buildings kind of windows. I'm not really sure. Just a lot of like windows. Just way too much. We have this wood, which kind of just shows how shadows work and stuff. And yeah, you see, kind of manipulates the shadow. Not really. But yeah, that's about it really for the lightning. Oh, also one more thing. If you go to an explorer thing called lightning, just called lightning. There's something called ambient and all those other settings. So let me show those before I go. So first off, we have the ambient, which is, well, changes the kind of vibe, like dark vibe, like more of a dark feeling, juiciness, kind of like a contrast to your screen, really. So it does, really just modifies ambience. And then the brightness makes the sun more bright. Yeah, that doesn't really do much. I don't know what that does, nor these four things. Global shadows are just shadows. In the future, I'll describe more about it and how to use it and stuff. And shadow softness. You see, it makes shadows sharp or smooth. I usually set it to 0.5, and the technology is the kind of technology that we use. Here's the shadow map, voxel, future, or compatibility. So here we have the shadow map, which is the default, but the future, look how cool the future looks. It's just better. In all ways, it's just really good. And now, one more thing I want to show you is testing your game. So if we go to home and then click this arrow, there's 3 types. We talked about run in the first video, which is just, it runs the physics and shows how everything moves and stuff. Play here, that means you spawn in where the camera is at right now. So if we click play here, it's gonna spawn where the camera was. The first thing you're gonna notice, you are very, very laggy. That's for a good reason. Your game is not on Roblox yet. Like, this is a prototype play, so it lags. But here we could see how the size of the player looks and stuff. The player size is about like 3.5 studs, if you need to know that. And play is just just place at a spawn point. You can add a spawn using this. That is a spawn location. You've probably seen one of these before. You can scale them down and just like put them here, like, and yeah, that's it really. That's all I could talk about lightning today. I hope y'all learned something interesting today. Maybe how to, use it and how it works and what kind of lights there are. Maybe it's gonna help you make a video game. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure. It's up to you really. It's your imagination. So yeah. Goodbye.